Marc Marquez isn't just dominating the 2025 MotoGP season, it's transforming it, turning a championship into a statement. A war cry. A message to the sport that he's far from done. This isn't about points anymore. It's about power. About rewriting the definition of greatness, not just through speed, but through psychology, strategy, and unshakable will. The numbers are terrifying. After just 12 rounds, he's won 8 Grand Prix, 11 sprints, and leads the World Championship. By 120 points, he's not just winning, he's breaking spirits. One paddock at a time, and the weekend that said it all. Brno. Back on the calendar for the first time since 2019, the Czech circuit became a battlefield. Not just for race positions, but for legacy. Marquez walked away with a double victory. But how he won was even more chilling than the fact that he did in the sprint. Marquez let Pedro Acosta pass him intentionally. Why? To drop his tire pressure after an unexpected electronic fault. Once the issue was resolved, he breezed past Acosta like it was nothing. It wasn't arrogance. It was message-sending to Acosta. To the grid. To history, Acosta isn't just another rider. He's the heir apparent. The young phenom with 2 world titles already, and the rider many call the next Marquez. But at Brno, Marc reminded everyone of something critical. There is no next Marquez. There's only one in the full race. It was Marco Bezzecchi who tried to rattle him, didn't work. Bezzecchi pushed, attacked, showed serious pace. But Marquez moved, unbreakable. He pulled away, controlled everything. Won by nearly 2 seconds, all while battling the same tire issue that destroyed Pecco Bagnaia. Race earlier that day, same problem. Different result. That's the Marc Marquez difference. And that's what has the paddock whispering. The young guys, fast, talented, brave. But none of them can crack his mind or match his ruthlessness. The 2025 season isn't just about speed. It's about survival. And so far, only one rider is thriving, the same one who's been terrifying the grid since 2013. Let's talk numbers. Marquez now sits at 95 Grand Prix wins. He's just 20 away from Rossi's all-time record of 115. In the Premier class alone, he has 69 wins. Rossi, 89. That record isn't safe anymore. And as his numbers rise, the biggest rivalry of his career resurfaces: the Cold War with Valentino Rossi. They haven't spoken publicly in years. No handshake, no truce. Just tension and shadows. At Mugello, the boos still rain down. Even in 2025. Rossi may have retired in 2021. But his army hasn't gone anywhere. And as Marquez grows stronger, that old wound only deepens. After his 200th MotoGP start, the media asked, could he ever make peace with Rossi? His answer: when something doesn't depend only on you, you can't say yes. Not a yes, not a no. Just a reminder, this feud isn't personal anymore. It's philosophical, a clash of eras, of mentalities, of empires. Ducati boss Davide Tardosi wants them to reconcile, publicly, but in private. Insiders say Rossi's camp is worried that Marc might not just match his legacy, but eclipse it entirely. And that fear is real. Because Marquez has done what Rossi never did. He left his comfort zone. He walked away from Honda, from his own dynasty, and joined Ducati, the most pressurized seat in MotoGP, a move many believed was suicide. Instead, it's become his resurrection. He's leaner, fitter, smarter. He isn't the wild 21-year-old from 2013. Anymore, he's something worse. He's calculated, he's experienced, and he's still fast. Giacomo Agostini said it best after Sachsenring: Marquez shows everyone how to ride, and he's cunning. That last word That's what separates him. It's not just about lap times anymore. It's about game management. Mind games, intimidation. That's why Pedro Acosta matters, because he's the first young rider who might actually have what it takes at Brno. Acosta scored his first full race podium of the season. On a KTM, on a track he'd never raced before. It impressed the whole paddock, even Marquez. But their body language post-race. Ice cold, no handshake, no words, just silence. Observers picked up on it quickly. Marquez isn't threatened. Yet, but he's watching closely. And Acosta. He hates being called the next Marc Marquez. He wants to build his legacy. That's why Marquez is already applying pressure, not on the track, but off it, praising Acosta's rival Fermin Aldeguer. In interviews, subtle, sharp, effective. Everyone knows Acosta wants a Ducati ride, maybe with VR for 6, and when Marquez was asked about it, he said, "Sure, he'll do better than on a KTM, but not more than that." Translation: "You're still not me, so where is this all going?" Let's look ahead. With 10 races left, Marquez is almost guaranteed to seal his 7th MotoGP title, matching Rossi's record. He could do it at Misano. In Italy. On Rossi's home ground. A full circle moment. A psychological dagger. And he knows it when asked directly if he wanted to win the title there. His answer was cold. "I'm not going to answer like you don't already know me." Then he added, "I'm approaching the last 10 races with the mindset that I can only lose." That's where Marquez is mentally. Not fighting to win, fighting to not slip. It's checkmate mode. Final boss energy. So what comes next? A record-breaking 8th title in 2026. Becoming the all-time winningest rider in MotoGP history. Or something more abstract, more personal. Like proving that he, not Rossi, is the greatest to ever do it. Because, let's be honest, Rossi was magic, charisma, artistry, flair. Marquez, he's a weapon. All precision, no mercy. Different styles, different eras. But now, one throne. When asked again if he'd bury the feud with Rossi, Marquez didn't say no. But he didn't say yes either, because legacy doesn't need forgiveness, it only needs victory. And in 2025, those victories are stacking up, one race at a time, one record at a time, until nothing's left to question, until nothing's left to doubt. The feud may never end, but the final word, that just might already belong to Marc Marquez.